addiction, no matter what it is, actually comes from some sort of, I think, I don't want to put words in Gabriel's mouth now, but I think it's some form of childhood trauma. And he defines trauma as either bad things happen to you or not enough good things happen to you. So it's not just that stereotypical event of, you know, I was
abused or hit.
Of course, and I clearly, you know, I'm not trying to make light of that in any way.
No.
But
it's tragic.
It's as if when we don't feel whole in ourselves, we then use other things to fill that hole and to fill that void. And, you know, I've got a few addictive personality type behaviors. I'm going to change my language. I used to have certain behavioral patterns to do with various addictive tendencies. And those things didn't go away by me trying to help them go away. When I did the inner work, as I continue to do my inner work, and I start to peel away layers of the onion and I become more secure in who I am, those things have just fallen by the wayside without me even trying.
Bingo, right? So, you know, I tell people, you can't create the life of someone you don't yet believe yourself to be. Right, so again, this is one of my quotes that I use in my book, right? So it's like recognizing that if you're wanting to create a certain life externally, then if you don't emulate that internally in the way that you view yourself, in the way that you speak about yourself, the way that you behave, then you're, you know, to use the English expression, you're pissing into the wind, right? It's not going to work because you're going against the grain of how you're fundamentally conditioned. I'll use a sports analogy because I think, you know, I work with a lot of professional athletes and it's a beautiful metaphor for life. So I was hired by a very successful basketball player here. And he was struggling from the free throw. Like when one of the players gets fouled, you go to the free throw. You know, it's a relatively easy shot. The league average is 75%. So when a guy is fouled, he goes to the free throw line, usually makes the 1 pointer, you know, 7-8 times out of 10. This guy's average was 35%. So, you know, it wasn't even close to average, it was half the average. And you can imagine he was, you know, losing sleep. It was affecting his personal relationships at home because of the stress. Crowds were starting to boo. And here's somebody who's getting paid millions of dollars. There's literally millions of fans. You know, they're fanatical here in the States about their sports. And it was costing him a lot. You know, he was really, really struggling. So the point about addiction and why I'm using this sports metaphor as a comparison is he had become addicted to the fact that he had a problem. So when I met him, I said, you're probably speaking to everyone you can, from players, coaches, even sports psychologists. He's like, I'm doing everything I can to fix the problem. I said, and therein lies one of your biggest obstacles, because you keep reinforcing the belief that you've got a problem. Do you remember the movie Men in Black with Will Smith, and they waved the black wand after they'd seen the aliens to wipe their memory? So I said to the guy, I said, if you had no memory, where's your problem? Just to start to give him an indicator that what he's fighting is his history. So now he goes up to the free throw line. He isn't even focused on what he's trying to accomplish, which is make the basket. He is trying to avoid his history of hurt, trauma. I'm not a big fan of the word trauma, but past failings or disappointments where we got upset. And now he's standing there literally trying to fix his history. But that's only impossible. So, you know, I mean, I played with a guy, as you can probably imagine. I'm coming from a lot of love and compassion. He's doing the best he can. It's affecting him dramatically. But I said, once he got to see it, I used a metaphor. You're like driving a car, but the way you're driving the car is you're looking in the rearview mirror. So all you're seeing is what's behind you, and then you wonder why you keep running into shit.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, so then I said to him, what if I told you that for the rest of the season, you shot league average? Let's just be, you know, we'll be conservative. You shot 75% instead of 35, 37. His shoulders dropped. He had the biggest smile on his face. This guy's huge. He's like, you know, 7 foot something. And he's like, that would feel amazing. I said, what I just presented to you is a future that is as real as the one you're concerned about. The difference is, I recognize that as a possibility, whereas you're so busy trying to avoid your history that you're actually standing in the line in a state of anxiety, which is self-perpetuating, it's self-fulfilling. Both the futures, you're worried about one. Mine is phenomenal, or at least better. They're both made up. Why? Because we're still sitting in your house. We haven't gone anywhere. But mine elicits joy, freedom, relaxation. If you're an athlete coming from freedom, joy, and relaxation, I don't care what sport you're doing, you're going to do it better than if you're coming from tension, anxiety, and worry. That night, he had a game. He shot 6 out of 8, so that was 75%. And for the rest of the week, he shot 68%.
Way better than previous.
Almost double if you're into that kind of stuff.